Hey everyone, Dreki here, and today I'm reviewing the iZeeker iA800 Action Cam. This is a real 4K camera based on an Umbrella chipset, and it makes a lot of promises for being relatively inexpensive. In my opinion, doesn't quite deliver on a few of those promises, so let's check out some footage, some comparisons, and we'll see if this camera is worth it for you. So I am filming directly on the iZeeker camera right now, holding it out in front of me, but I do have the camera mounted on a gimbal just so I can get it a little bit further away from my face. There are 4 problems with the iZeeker camera that I'm going to point out. First 2 are kind of nitpicky, I think, but the last 2 are really important. So first and foremost, it's about the build quality of the iZeeker camera. Since I'm filming on the camera right now, it's a little bit hard to show you, splice in some footage afterwards, but the build quality of this camera is pretty good overall, except for the buttons. The buttons feel terrible. They're soft and mushy and basically have no response whatsoever. So if you're wearing gloves, it can be very difficult to know if you've pressed a button. In addition, there's no tripod mount on the bottom of the camera, which is fine. Some of my favorite action cams don't have a tripod mount, but it also means when mounting this camera to any other hardware like bike handlebars, there's an additional piece of plastic that goes in between the camera and the mount. Another thing about having this external case around the camera in order to mount it to anything like the bike handlebars here is that it has this really deep edge and it's very difficult to press all the on-screen touchscreen controls. So you see I have to just dig my finger right into there in order to get the settings, and yeah, that kind of sucks. Come on. Come on, there we go. Like I said, that's just a little bit of a nitpick though. The build quality overall otherwise is quite good, and I like that the lens cover is removable just in case you scratch or smash that. It can be replaced pretty easily. Now we're looking at problem number 2 though, the video quality. I'm walking and talking and holding the camera out front of me just like any vlogger would do, and this is what the video looks like at 4K 30 frames per second. It's pretty good overall, honestly. 4K 30 is not a big issue. Problem comes when you want to go into a lower resolution. This is some walking footage showing off the EIS stabilization. Now let's move into some jogging. I'm just holding the cameras out in front of me, nothing special, no gimbal this time. And back to walking. This is some walking footage showing off the EIS stabilization. Now let's move into some jogging. I'm just holding the cameras out in front of me, nothing special, no gimbal this time. And back to walking. This is some walking footage showing off the EIS stabilization. Now let's move into some jogging. I'm just holding the cameras out in front of me, nothing special, no gimbal this time. And back to walking. And now we've stepped down to 1080p 60, and yeah, the video quality is not great. There's really sharp edges to what should be straight lines, kind of these jagged sort of, I don't know, I'll zoom in really quick and just show you exactly what I mean. It's not very good. And I would describe it as unoptimized, and that's a really good way to describe this camera overall as we move into problem number 3. The optimization on this camera is absolutely awful. This is one of the worst filming experiences I've had with an action cam in a long time. Alright, so now I'm just walking and talking, holding the camera at arm's length out in front of me, no gimbal, nothing special. And as I was saying, the optimization on this camera is just awful. Its user interface is slow and laggy and often doesn't register touches. Scrolling through menus feels just a little bit delayed. Switching between modes, well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But on the fly, chances are that if you need to change a camera setting, even powering on the camera takes such a long time that I found myself frequently missing clips that I wanted to get with this camera because the action had ended before the camera was ready to film. To add insult to injury, this camera is so slow to save to the memory card that often it'll take 30 or more seconds after I press the stop recording button to be ready to take the next clip. I'll let past me explain a little bit more about this. I feel like doing snow footage is cheating because it makes everything so much brighter and it's a lot harder to see details. Well, let's look up at those trees over there, I guess. Try and read some of the license plates. And get off the road so if a car comes, we don't get hit by it. One thing I need to mention again that I mentioned earlier is just how slow this camera is to save clips to the memory card. So I'll stop this clip here. Yeah, and as you can see, that little blue light in the corner is still flashing. And that means it's still saving this clip to the memory card. It takes anywhere from an additional 10 to 30 seconds to save the clip, and in my opinion, that's just unacceptable. I'm not sure if it's a slow card reader or slow memory or what it is that's causing this, but I use this memory card in every other camera I review, every action cam, every dash cam, and it does not do this. As well, at some of the higher resolutions like 4K 60, I'm limited to filming about 20 to 30 seconds of video before the camera just shuts itself off, then freezes for about 20 to 30 seconds, saving the clip, then allows me to continue recording. Like I said, I've never really seen anything like it before, but in my opinion, that's a huge deal breaker. 30 seconds is a long time, and you can miss some opportunities for good video in that. "4K 30 EIS on super mode." I've ran into issues even while doing these short walk and talk clips where at higher resolutions, the camera has cut off after about 20 to 30 seconds of filming, frozen for a minute while it saves the clip, and then I can't use the camera, I don't know that it's cut off, I can feel that the camera is running quite hot. So maybe mine has an issue, but different memory cards haven't fixed it, different card sizes, card speeds. These are the memory cards that I use in my DJI camera filming at 4K 60, so there really shouldn't be any issue. Well, let's see if we can get more than 10 seconds of video out of this thing before the buffer fills up again. Okay, we're doing fine. We're doing fine. It's a bit of a shame that the usability of this camera is so bad because 4K 30 mode is fine, 1080p 30 mode is fine, 60 frames per second modes, so-so. But what's the point when you can't capture the action because the camera is saving it to the memory card or is turning on or is frozen in the settings and you have to pull the battery out? Really frustrating to use. I'm saying that the video quality is fine at 4K. I'm not using the word good. Not using the word excellent, just fine. And there's a very specific reason for that. Brings us into problem number 4, which is this camera's lens. It looks like iZeeker has gone the way of using decent internal hardware, except for maybe a really small video buffer, but the quality of the lens is quite poor overall compared to other action cams. The iZeeker does have a slightly narrower field of view than other action cams, and the side effect of that is, well, my face is out of focus when I'm holding it at arm's length. The iZeeker does have a slightly narrower field of view than other action cams, and the side effect of that is, well, my face is out of focus when I'm holding it at arm's length. This camera does have a nice forward-facing screen, which makes me think it would be suitable for vlogging, but I'd have to get a selfie stick, a gimbal, something to extend my reach out to about 2 feet before my face is in focus. Otherwise, I'll just look like a blurry mess. I'm not going to film the unboxing, I'm not going to film many product shots, because the reality is, I do not recommend this camera. It has too many usability issues, which is a shame because it has so much potential, being based on an Umbrella chipset, being waterproof without an external case, being affordable. But then we end up with this camera here that is just so slow and so buggy that, yeah, I want to return it, but I'm outside of the return period, so I'm stuck. The unfortunate part is, I don't know if it's just the camera that I got that has these issues, or if it's all iZeeker iA800s. I'll never know. I'm not going to buy a second one. That's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Here's the 6K 30 mode. I suspect it's fake, but you know, we'll see. No anti-shake. 4K 60, no anti-shake. This might look a little bit better because the sun just came out, but you know. 4K 30, no EIS. 2.7K 60, no EIS. 1440p 60, no EIS. 1080p 60, no EIS. 1080p 60 Super EIS. How about good old 1080p 30? Can it at least do that? .7K 60 Super EIS. 4K 60 Super EIS. This is also like the smoothest pathway ever, so if there's any shaking on the camera, I thoroughly blame the camera. He went the right way, I didn't. So we basically followed the SkyTrain all the way to Vancouver. Isn't that cool? There's little sections here and there that are city streets, but